Hey there, hope all is well with you guys this week. Just wanted to do a little story reading. We haven't done story sharing for a while. And our Sunday school stuff for this week is all about reading together and the joy of sharing books, sharing stories. Maybe some of you and your families love to tell stories about each other. Do you have a favorite story of when you were a child or stories that your children like to hear over and over and over again? One of our favorite series or one of our favorite authors is from Howard R. Garris. He wrote stories back in the teens, back in the 19 teens. This book, I think, is actually from 1911 or 1908, something super early. This copy isn't from them then, but the stories and the collections are. Howard Garris was the father of bedtime stories. Did you know that? He used to write comic strips for a weekly newsletter or newspaper, a daily newspaper in New Jersey and New York. And his column got so popular that parents and kids would just anticipate every night what and when they got their newspapers what Mr. Garris was going to be writing about. And his main character is Uncle Wiggily Longears, the old rabbit gentleman. You can see him here. And when I was a kid, my grandparents, Helen and Paul or Ned Kindig, would read to me and my sister Carolyn story upon story all about Uncle Wiggily. And this summer, well, over the last couple of years, Sam and Martin have gotten into it, but we really got into Uncle Wiggily this summer. Do you know how many stories he wrote? 18,000. And I think we have read about 100 of them. I don't even know if there is a list of all of it. But anyway, so I'm going to be reading to you from Uncle Wiggily on the Farm. You guys hear me talking about my parents' farm, which was my grandparents' farm for so long. Then I just thought that this would be perfect. I don't know if I honestly have a favorite Uncle Wiggily story, but Uncle Wiggily on the Farm was one of my favorites collections. And this particular story is called Uncle Wiggily and the Pie Plant. Oh, I feel so happy. I feel so fine because the nicest of days of all year are those of summertime. That's what Uncle Wiggily Longears, the nice old rabbit gentleman, sang as he hopped down off the porch of his hollow stump farmhouse one morning and started across the fields with his hoe over his shoulder. My, but you are jolly today, exclaimed Nurse Jane Fuzzy Wuzzy, the muskrat lady housekeeper, as she was finishing the breakfast dishes. I am jolly, answered Uncle Wiggily. Everything on my farm is growing so nicely since it rained, after I tried to water the vegetables from the well, where that old scalery alligator bumped his nose the other day. Everything is fine, and today I am going over to my field and dig up some sweet potatoes, and I'll make you a sweet potato pie, Nurse Jane said with a smile. Oh, that would be lovely, cried the bunny uncle, and he blew a kiss from the top tip of his paw to the muskrat lady, for he was very polite, even if he was a rabbit. Well, pretty soon, and in a little while, and not so very long, Uncle Wiggily came to the place where the sweet potatoes grew underground. He took off his coat, pulled his straw hat down over his ears so he would not get sunburned, and began digging. Out rolled one brown Out rolled the brown sweet potatoes from the hills of dirt where they had been growing. Uncle Wiggily picked them up and put them in his basket. He was thinking about how good the pie would taste when Nurse Jane had baked it, when, all of a sudden, he was surprised to hear behind him a voice saying, "Well, you may stop work now." "Oh, goodness me sakes alive, and some blackberry or huckleberry pudding!" cried the bunny uncle. "Who is there?" "I am," said the voice of the fuzzy fox, and surely enough he was, sitting down and looking at Mr. Longears. "What do you want?" Uncle Wiggily begged to know. "You," snarled the fox. "You stop your work and come with me. I surely have you this time. You shan't get away." Uncle Wiggily didn't know what to do. He didn't want to go away with the fox, and I guess you wouldn't either, would you? Well, I thought not. Well, the old rabbit gentleman looked around, hoping he could find some way to run off and be safe, and all at once the fox pointed to some big, broad green leaves growing near where Uncle Wiggily was digging with sweet potatoes. The fox asked, "What are they?" "Oh, that is a pie plant," answered Uncle Wiggily politely, for he was polite even to a fox. "A pie plant, eh?" went on the fuzzy creature. "Well, if that is a pie plant, just pick me a cherry pie and I'll eat it before I take you away. Pick me a pie." "But I can't," said Uncle Wiggily, flustered like. "I thought you said that was a pie plant," went on the fox. "So it is," said Uncle Wiggily, "but you don't understand. First, you have to pull up the stalks of the plant and cook them into rhubarb. Then you make a pie and "Nonsense!" cried the fox. "If that is a pie plant, it must be growing pies on it. Now you must pick either me a pie that I can eat right away and without wanting to have it cooked, or I'll do something to you." Poor Uncle Wiggily didn't know what to say. Well, he knew that no ready baked pie grew on the pie plant, especially no cherry ones. What was he to do? All of a sudden he heard from under the leaves of the plant a little voice whispering, "Uncle Wiggily, ask the bad fox if he'll let you go if you give him a pie." "Eh? What's that? Who are you?" asked the rabbit gentleman. "Never mind, you ask him," went on the voice. "Ask him if he wants a pie." So Uncle Wiggily said, "If I give you a pie from this plant, Mr. Fox, will you let me go?" "Maybe," answered the fuzzy creature, shy-like and noncommittal. "Anyway, I'll bite you if I don't get a pie." The bunny uncle turned to the big leaf again, and out from under it slid a big pie. Not stopping to ask how it got there, Uncle Wiggily quickly passed it over to the fox, saying, "Here you are." The fox bit in the pie and all of a sudden became all wrinkled up and cried, "Oh, ouch! Oh, wow! Oh, my mouth is all puckered. I can't even bite a lemon. Woe is me!" And he ran away to the drugstore to get something with which to unpucker his mouth, leaving Uncle Wiggily feeling safe and not hurt a bit. "Where did that pie come from?" asked Uncle Wiggily. "I am sure it never grew on the plant." "It didn't," said the little voice. "I had it with me. It was a cherry pie I got at the store for my mother, but I guess the baker forgot to put any sugar in it, and that's what made it so sour for the fox." And out came Sammy Littletail, the rabbit boy. "Well, it's a good thing for me that it was sour," said Uncle Wiggily with a smile, as the little rabbit chap hopped out from under the plant. Sammy was on his way home from the bakery when he happened to see the fox trying to catch the bunny. And Sammy saved him by hiding under the big leaves and handing out the pie just in time. And if the Mooly Cow doesn't step on the rubber ball and knock the wind out so it can't catch its breath when it plays tag with the Goat's Express wagon, I'll tell you next about Uncle Wiggily and the birdseed. And how Garrus always ended his little Uncle Wiggily stories with a silly thing like that to help children anticipate the next story. Feel free to share a story of your own right here on Facebook. See you guys soon.